Good afternoon, children. Today I am taking the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. Children, this poem is very, very important, and almost every year we get an extract from here. Clear? Only this year we didn't get any extract, otherwise, every year we get an extract from this poem. So, first of all, about the poet. I am reading from here. Stephen Spender was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford, without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Means besides being a very good poet, he had a keen interest in politics, and moreover, he declared himself a socialist and a pacifist. Who is a socialist? Who believes that wealth should not concentrate in few hands, but it should be owned or controlled by the workers. And who is a pacifist? Who believes that war and violence are unjustifiable, means who believes in peace, you can say. Clear? Now, books by Spender include poems of dedication, Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and the Autobiography, World Within World. Now, about the poem. So, children, here in this poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, the poet concentrates on the themes of social injustice and class inequalities. And he describes the plight, or we can say the miserable condition of slum children in a slum school. Now, starting with the poem. Now, see the first stanza. So, before this, you must understand that yes, the government here, what is shown that the government has opened a school in the slum area. Clear? And the children who come to this area, the poet has given the description of these children. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. So the poet says here that these children who live in these stinking lanes, means the lanes from where the foul smell comes. So these children are far, far from gusty waves, means what it refers to? It refers to the lively and energetic aspect of a child's life. Means the strong current of any sensation which every child has, which every child gets in his life, but which unfortunately is lacking in the faces of these children whom the poet has shown sitting in the classroom of the slum area. Means these children who come from the slum area to attend the classes here in the slum area school are deprived of so many things, which means common people, the people from the common families, they get in their life, but because they belong to poor families, they are poor people, they are deprived of all those things. Clear? Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means pale. What are weeds? Useless plants which are not required. Means the poet says that these children of slum area are unwanted by the society. Rootless means that they do not have their roots in the society. They do not belong to society because society considers these children unwanted and unrequired. Fine. Now, next, the hair torn around their pallor. What does it mean, children? That like rootless, useless plants, their uncombed and unkempt hair torn around their pallor. Pallor means pale face, means children sitting in the classroom have pale faces. Why? Because due to their poverty, they do not get proper nourishment, and that's why their face looks pale, or we can say that it looks as if they are ill. So through these two lines, the poet here describes the pathetic condition of the slum children who are so much caught in the web of poverty that it's too difficult for them to escape from this world of poverty. The world where they are deprived of even the basic amenities of life, and where life is only full of hardships and pain. Clear? Like rootless weeds. Figure of speech, simile. Why? Because poet has compared their faces with rootless weeds, and the word of comparison like is used here. That's why simile. Now see the next line. The tall girl with her weighed down head. So here what is shown, that in the classroom of this slum area school, a girl is sitting who is tall, but instead of sitting straight and in a disciplined manner, what she has done? She has bent her head down as if she is all depressed and exhausted. Why exhausted? Due to the burden of misfortunes of her life, and you can say that as if she has no dreams or hopes for future, and is just carrying the weight of her depression and misfortunes. The paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. Now another child who is sitting in the class is a paper seeming boy. Paper seeming means like a paper, means the boy is very lean and thin, and his eyes are bulging out like a rat. Figure of speech. Which figure of speech is used here? Metaphor. Children, you understand the difference between simile and metaphor, because this I had told in class 11 also. See, both in simile and metaphor, two things are compared. Clear? One thing is compared with another thing, but in simile, when we compare one thing with another thing, so the words of comparison are used, but in metaphor again we compare one thing with another thing, but the words of comparison are not used. For example, suppose I say life is like a mirror. So means we are comparing life with a mirror, and we are using the word of comparison like, L-I-K-E I am using here. So this is simile, and when I simply say life is a mirror, means I am comparing life with mirror, but without using the words of comparison. I am not using any word L-I-K-E like here. So this is metaphor. Fine. So by giving the description of a paper seeming boy, the poet conveys that actually the boy is malnourished, and when his eyes he are compared to those of rats, the poet wants to highlight the fact that due to hunger, his eyes constantly search for food, and that's why the unfulfilled desire, you can say, to get food daily, to get proper nourishment daily, has turned his eyes like rat's eyes, which are bulging outside. Clear? So today you revise this much only, because poem is not an easy poem. A lot of explanation is required here. So today you revise this much, and rest we will do in next. Thank you, children.